Hello, everyone. It's me, Christiana Gaudet, your tarot fairy godmother, and I am so excited to welcome back to our channel the one and only Erika Robinson. How are you, Erika?
I'm very well, Christiana. Good to be here again.
It is so good to see you, and so good to see all the great things that are happening in your world. The last time you were here, and people are still talking about it, the last time you were here, we were just promoting this, and I just had the cover on a piece of paper. Now I have it in my hands, and it is fabulous. Friends, if you don't have your copy yet, The Language of Lenormand by Erika Robinson, available on Amazon, waste no time. But we are actually here to promote, like you're busy, man.
Yes.
Tell us what we're doing here today.
In addition to a book, as I wrote, I think on a Facebook post, I said, what's a book without a deck? And I know that why would you buy a how-to if there's no, thing to how-to it with? So I have also a deck, and it is in Kickstarter right now. It's only a 2-week span. We are fully funded right now, but we're taking orders. It's if you go to Kickstarter and you look for Erika's Lenormand of Hope, you will see it there. The deck that I'm using is a prototype that is the same size as the deck will be, but we also have a mini version, which is great. And Lenormandists love mini versions. So for whatever, I
Indeed.
guess because sometimes they do spreads that are quite large.
Right.
But you can't get the mini deck without it's like an add-on. So go there, get the deck. There's a beautiful reading cloth that goes with it. Um, Actually, there's a tier where I have an actual hand knit bag that I myself have knitted.
Oh my
So
gosh.
there's that tier, and you can add on the mini deck. So today, what we're doing is brief readings, and I am actually using that deck so you can actually see it in action.
Perfect, perfect. And people are already lining up with their questions, which is
Good.
fabulous. I want to say a big thank you to Lisa Harmon. Lisa, thank you for being a member and thank you for your generous super sticker. Most appreciated. And I want to let everyone know in the description of this video is a link to Erika's Kickstarter. So all you have to do when we're finished here tonight, or if you're watching the replay when you're finished, just hit the link and go on and order your deck and see it and make sure that you get the first edition. All right, Erika, you ready to do some readings?
I'm ready.
Okay, and people here show up so regularly, and I'm so grateful for everyone here. They show up for me to read for them a lot. I am so happy that they're here and you can read for them now.
Yes, and let me say this. So this, of course, Lenormand is not tarot.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I will not answer. Questions like, well, whatever the universe wants me to know.
Mm-hmm.
Lenormand likes specifics. And it doesn't have to be super specific because, nobody wants to put their business in the street, but specific in terms of if there's an area of your life that you'd like me to look at, then just if you let me know the area, or if you have a concern and you want to be more specific, Lenormand responds well to that.
Perfect. So, first up is Trey Cameron. Trey, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. My question is, should I pursue this project? Does it have any potential for success?
All right, I'm going to say one thing because I'm a teacher for 30 years. So I'm always teaching when I'm reading, and I just want to say this. Be careful how you phrase your questions. When you phrase a question with the word should, it's as though you're giving up your own agency in the matter. So it's fine. I'm just going to rephrase the question. And the way I'm going to rephrase it is this: how will it be if I pursue this project? Okay, and I'm going to pull 3 cards because I'm sure we have a lot of people here. So as a rule, I'll probably keep it to 3 cards. Okay, so we have the child card, we have the heart, and we have the house. This is telling me start it on a relatively small scale. that would be, this is for something new, yes, but also relatively small in scale. It seems as though it is both a project of your heart and as though it's going to be something that you will be very much at home pursuing. So should you do it? I don't know. Only you know that. How will it work? How will things go if you do pursue it? I think they will go swimmingly, as they say.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. And I have to say a big thank you to someone who is known to you, Sage and Shadow. Nancy Hendrickson has helped out with a very generous super sticker. So thank you so much, Nancy, for being here. And we're looking forward to seeing you and Erika at StarCon. All right. Up next, we have Janine Barnes. Major crossroads after major relationship and nervous breakdown. What should my main focus be next?
Okay. Again, not so much should, but what might be a good focus for me next?
Mm-hmm.
We have the anchor, we have the tower, and we have the fox. So here's what I'm going to say. The anchor. Now, an anchor is a funny instrument because it is itself and it's also its opposite, meaning that an anchor can keep you stuck and an anchor can keep you safe. Sometimes feeling safe is feeling stuck if you're not moving. But here, I feel like we're just talking about this is a time for you to anchor yourself, to take advantage of this time on your own, alone. If this is a relationship breakup, now you are this alone person. But the thing about this tower, it's very different, by the way, from the tarot tower, which is falling apart and it's on fire and people are hanging out of it. Notice there's nothing like that in this tower. This is a tower that, of course, there will be loneliness if you're used to being in a relationship and then you're not. There are periods of loneliness, but this is also an opportunity for autonomy, for you to find yourself. If there is a degree to which, and I suspect there probably was, you lost yourself in this relationship, this is the time to anchor yourself, to find yourself. And then the third card, this is the fox. One of the things that I will say about the fox, it is the specialist, the expert, the specialist. So if you have a therapist, make those meetings because this person can help you anchor yourself and help you see this tower not as loneliness, but as autonomy and strength.
So I have to tell you, I am learning so much watching you and listening to you do these readings.
Good.
It's a great experience for people to be able to get these readings. It's a great treat, but educationally, also a treat. Okay, we have TA and GA. Question. I would like some insight in regard to understanding what my emotions lately mean. I feel like something is incoming, something good, but yet I'm having mixed emotions, very teary-eyed lately.
Okay. I will look and see what I can tell you in 3 cards. Oh, how funny. 2 of the 3 cards are cards that already we've seen, which is unusual. So we have the fox, we have the child, and we have the stork. So here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that I don't think it's a bad thing for you to ask this question, what's this all about? But I think that, we can ask questions lots of different ways. Sometimes we can ask with real curiosity. Sometimes we ask with suspicion. Sometimes we ask with anticipation and excitement. I would suggest that you don't necessarily need to be looking at this so, as the word is, askance. not, don't squint your eyes when you're looking at these feelings. In fact, it looks like opportunity. Again, the child, I think you're correct. Something new is coming in, absolutely. And here's the best part. The final card is the stork. So here's why you don't have to look at this thing cross-eyed, narrowing your eyes, because whatever's coming in is going to be an improvement over what has been, because the stork is always about positive change.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. And up next is Lisa Harmon. And Lisa, once again, thanks for being a member and thank you for the generous super sticker. So, hello and good evening. Blessings to all. My question is, will my daughter Jeannie find a house before the new year?
Okay. So I love to use, it's in my book, I love to use a yes/no spread that has 6 cards. This is a spread that I learned from Donale de la Rose, who's a wonderful Lenormandist, taught me a lot. And I asked her permission if I could use this spread in my book because I think it's so powerful. When you go to a reader and you ask a yes/no question, here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to like pay your money and ask this yes/no question and then have them say yes or no.
Right. Thank you. Goodbye.
You're not going to flip a coin for that, right? So what I love about this spread is it will give you the yes or no answer, but it will also give you a little bit of detail as to why. Okay. So we have the moon in the house of the ring. We have my special card, which I had added to the deck, the scales in the house of the mountain. And we have the woman in the house of the house. And I will say one more thing, the moon mirrors the house. So what does all that mean? I think that this is a house that your daughter may have been looking for a long, long time, because the ring is like that. It's sort of, it's a circle and it's like, it never ends kind of thing. And I think that she may very well feel as though her identity is very caught up in finding the exact right place. Now, when you do this kind of cost benefit analysis, like let's say you find the perfect house, but it's not in the neighborhood that you want, or you find a great neighborhood, but the house is not all of that. I think that there's been a lot of that going on, a lot of it's great for this, but not great for that. And so there's been a block, right? It hasn't happened because the mountain is a block. The thing I always say though about a mountain is, yes, it's a delay. So I am going to say I don't think by January, but the delay is an opportunity to stop, reassess, maybe explore some areas that she hasn't explored yet. Maybe give some the energy time for new properties to open up. So I don't think this delay is a bad thing because we have woman in the house of the house. It may not be by January, but she will find a house. And when she finds it in the new year, she'll say, this is like, what is that fairy tale? What's that one where snow? What's that one that went into with the 3 bears?
Goldilocks. Oh, Goldilocks. This is just right.
It's just right for me. Yes.
Beautiful.
So I don't think that you don't want to sacrifice one thing for the other. You don't want to snatch something up quickly if it's not the right thing. So better to wait until the right thing comes along.
So you added the scales.
I did. You want me to tell you a little bit about why?
Yes, please.
So Lenormand creators are often first tarot creators, right? And so they're used to doing decks which have 78 cards. So when they get a commission for a Lenormand deck and they finish the 36 cards, they're like, what, is that it? Like, we need some more. So it is very common in modern decks for Lenormand creators to add extra cards. And I will say sometimes I find that successful, and I'm glad that they have done it. And most of the time I'm like, God, why? Now I will tell you, the deck that I love that uses extra cards is Rana George's deck. She has 4 extra cards that I think are brilliant. So I thought, well, it's not like I'm an artist and I have that artist thing of, oh my God, it's only 36. I want to create. But I said, let me bow to that modern convention of having something extra. Every Lenormand deck now has 2 men and 2 women. So of course I have that. So that's 38, 7 and 38. And then I thought, let me have a 39th card. So what do I want? I knew I wanted a scale, and I knew that I wanted something heavy on one side. So we have a pile of coins on one side, and we have daisies on the other. And I asked the artist to make sure that they were evenly weighed. Now, how is that possible, right? The coins are equal weight with daisies. It's because in every moment we have an opportunity to make choices, to weigh things, right? And so, and at different moments, we make different choices. But so I use this card in a lot of different ways that you just saw me use it. But what I say to readers, I say, you know what, let's say you don't want to use it. You want to just stick with the regular deck. That's fine. But what I would suggest that you do for your own sake is keep at the head of your reading desk on your reading cloth this card, because it reminds you that this is sacred work. If you have a client, for example, and they want to come to you and you answer their question and they love what you do, and then they want to come back the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. If you earn your daily bread by doing this work, you might be very tempted to have those scales tip in favor of those coins. But this, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, is sacred work. It's holy work. So if that is your perspective, maybe you want to check yourself before you wreck yourself and create a dependency on the part of that reader who maybe needs to let the energy of a situation play out over a period of weeks or months, or come to you with something different, because you don't want to become a crutch for someone.
Facts.
So it's sort of the caveat card for the reader, and that's why I wanted it in there.
That's beautiful. I love it so much. All right, ready for another question?
I'm ready.
Okay, Lola Mannequin, thanks for being here. I've been having some problems with my relationship with Marcos. We broke up this Sunday. We broke up, but this Sunday we had a nice and fun conversation. So they've broken up. Now they've recently had a nice conversation. Lola wants to know, what can I expect for the future?
Who knows? Let's see what the cards have to say. Okay. We have the lily. We have the woman. And we have the scythe. Here's what I'm going to say. I think it's wonderful that you had a good conversation, right? I mean, better to have a good conversation and be in a peaceful space with someone than not. But I also don't think that that means that the relationship should go back to what it was or be rekindled or anything like that, because we have this scythe. Think about it. What's that expression? A reason and a season. People come into our lives for a reason and a season. Sometimes, yes, it's forever, but sometimes it's just so that we or they or each of us can learn the lesson that we contracted with them, that they would teach us or that we would teach them before we came here. That sometimes when we hang on to things beyond their sell-by date, you get sick if you eat food that's sold past its sell-by date. For the sake of peace, of mind, of peace in every way, the peace in both of your hearts, be glad that you had a civil conversation and a funny conversation. Wouldn't we all like to be in that kind of space with everyone that we encounter? But that does not mean that you the flame should be rekindled.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Lisa says, I've never used it, but I do have a Lenormand deck. And Lisa, I wonder if you and everyone else here who are like, I mean, this is a community of tarot people. And I'm just wondering how many other people here are having the experience I am, where I'm like, I'm watching the cards and I'm like, what's she going to say? What's she going to say with that? And I'm like giving myself points for the ones that in my head I guessed right, and then there's the ones I didn't, but I learned. So I hope everyone else is learning right along with me. All right, Nalini Kalu, how are you? Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for using members only emojis. All right, here we go. I've been feeling overwhelmed and not focused on the things that need my attention. I feel like I'm not handling things as good as I should. Please give me guidance from the universe about where I am in life and where things are headed. I recognize that's one of those questions that probably you're not feeling so much for, Lenormand.
I will pull on it again. Each of our lives is comprised of many, 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 like a diamond, facets.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, there are times when we may feel like all of those facets are dull and need shining. Sometimes it's only a few. I like to read facet by facet, but that's the question, so I will look.
And there is one more sentence here. I feel like I can't trust or rely on anyone, especially those closest to me.
Okay, no. I'm pulling now.
Good.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I was listening while I'm going, no, because I already had started pulling the cards, but Spirit was on the case. So we have the heart, we have birds, and we have the dog. And I think that, this is very interesting to me because the heart is about love, of course, in all forms. Love of others, romantic love, our love of ourselves. But I do think that what is missing in your life is this, which is, this is about communication. It's talking in all forms. So it's emails, it's phone calls, it's Zooms, it's FaceTime. With people whom you can trust. And I'm going to say this, and I hope it doesn't sound harsh, because I certainly don't mean it to be, but this is why I'm not a therapist. In order to have a friend, we must first be a friend. If you are giving off vibes of distrust, you sometimes what we give out is what we get back. And I'm not telling you trust everybody. I'm saying, remember what I said about this heart. First, trust yourself. Trust yourself. And ask yourself, what energy are you pouring, and what words are you pouring into yourself? And then what words are coming out of your mouth? What kind of energy are you putting out? Because this is about communication. And so, yes, you need friends, but I think to have one, you have to be one.
Very good. And just a comment from Justine. Justine is a member, a moderator. She's also a StarCon volunteer, so you will meet her at StarCon. She says, wahoo, it's finally here. I've been looking forward to this since the last class, and I'm so stoked to register for Erika's Lenormand class in October. What's that?
November.
It's November. Okay. What can you tell us about that?
It's the 4 Mondays in November, starting on the 6th. That's the first one. It's a beginner's class, and my suggestion is, even if you think you know Lenormand, you don't know it my way unless you've studied with me. And I'm considered, one of the top Lenormand readers in the world, but I think I'm probably also considered unconventional. So, you may have learned with a method that is sort of very tried and true, European, German, or French. I'm an American, and I have my own riff on the system. It's $200 for the course. And if you go to lenormandwitherica.com and send me an email from that site, we can get you in.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you for that, and thank you, Justine, for being here. And there's a lot of love for the deck. People are really enjoying the deck.
It's
Okay.
beautiful.
Next question that I see is Claire C. Claire, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for being a member. What should I know about my November Mediterranean cruise, in which I will be solo since my friend backed out? It's my dream trip.
Oh my God. What a bummer. Okay, let's see. You know what? Because her friend backed out, we're going to give her a little extra love.
Good.
And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut the deck into 3, and then I'm going to flip cards. And fortunately, this is not a tarot deck. And I'm flipping cards until I get to the ship, because the ship will represent her trip. It's the significator for the trip. Okay, it popped up, and I'm going to pull cards on either side and see what there is to see. Okay, and I got the key, I got the ship, and how funny, I got the anchor. I mean, ships and anchors kind of go together, do they not? And I think that the key here is to realize this is your dream trip. You're going to have a wonderful time. You're going to make it your business. They say what happens at sea stays at sea. To have a wonderful time on this trip. So I think you don't have anything to worry about. I think it's going to be terrific. And you will feel good about yourself, actually, I think, for having done this solo. So in a way, it's kind of actually, I was like, oh, bummer, when you said your friend, pulled out. But actually, I think it's an opportunity for you to discover some cool things about yourself that you didn't know. So good for you.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, here we go. Lalima Sony, thanks for being here. She wants to know what's coming up for her in her career.
Okay. Again, if there weren't a lot of people waiting, what I would do is I would flip cards until I got to the moon. That's the card for career. But let Spirit know this is a career question, Spirit. So even if I'm not drawing that moon card, what I will say will be based on career. Okay. Okay, we have one repeat, which is the Lily. Love this card. We have the Rider, and we have the Bear. Okay, this is actually very cool. To whatever degree you've been anxious, worried, stressed out, the message is don't be. Be calm, be chill, know that what is for you will not pass you by. And then the Rider is like a message coming in. So I'm like, oh, what's the message? Well, the message is what is for you will not pass you by. But then what follows is the Bear. This is a terrific card to get in a career reading, because a bear is a boss. A bear is in charge. This is the card for financial stability as well. So I think it will be a position of authority, and I think the money will be good as well. So just relax, let the energy unfold. Don't choke, keep it in a chokehold. And I think you will be very pleasantly rewarded for that attitude by this job. Looks good.
Beautiful. And so I'm understanding that there are, just like with tarot, numerous ways of working with the cards. You can find the card that is the significator of, or that you have activated for. You can find that and then get the cards on either side as it came up in the deck. You can pull 3 cards. You've got spreads, all kinds of things.
Yeah, there's spreads in the book. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can do a lot of things. I will say the one caveat, the one thing to know as tarot readers, especially, is that unlike tarot, where you can do a very in-depth reading with a single card, that is not the case for Lenormand. You need, I would say, 3 cards to get a powerful message. And, there's even spreads that use the whole entire deck.
Right.
But Lenormand is a group sport, a group sport. What do they call it?
It's a team sport.
Team, thank you. It's a team sport. It's a group activity. It's a team sport. And so Lenormand, the card's meaning, so a single card, as you know, has multiple meanings. Well, how do you know which is which? The other cards will tell you. The other cards will tell you.
Perfect. So before we take the next question, I just want to say, let's see, first of all, from Claire, who is going on the trip alone. She's happy about being solo, and she just said, wow, about the reading. So very happy. My friend Martha Vink, who is one of my oldest friends, we met at Methodist summer camp when I was 14 and she was 15, I think, and we're older now. And she says, Erika, I love your style. You're so engaging. So
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. And James Kramer, James, I was just thinking about you the other day. Thank you so much for being here. James says, nice to meet you. I've known James for a lot of years too. Hope you're doing really well and so glad you're here. Okay, ready for another question?
I am.
I am glad you are, and it is Justine. So this is a quintessential tarot question. Take it and do with it as you will.
Okay.
My burning question. I've been trying to get my job search underway and I'm feeling really stuck. What is preventing me from being able to see the big picture so that I can move forward?
Okay. I will say that there is no question that tarot would answer that Lenormand cannot answer.
Good.
What I will say is that they will have they use different languages for their answer.
Fair. Okay.
Okay. So we have the man. This is the young man in my deck. We have the bouquet. And we have the clouds. This young man is not a real guy. I mean, well, obviously, but this young man represents yang energy. And it's also a certain kind of yang energy. It's the kind of yang energy that a young man would have, which is sort of a can-do attitude. Nothing can stand in my way. The world is my oyster. I've got this. I'm good. Okay, that's that yang energy. That you cultivating that kind of yang energy, and by the way, it doesn't matter what gender you are, everybody has yang energy. But you cultivating that type of yang energy would be a gift that you give yourself. By the way, little aside, this is the card that will be on the front of my tin for my deck. It's just gorgeous. It'll be navy blue in the back instead of black, but it's just a gorgeous card. This is the card for like a reward, an award or a reward. Here's the bottom line. You have doubts about whether or not you are worth it, whether you have a right to exercise. Oops, oh, sorry, dropped a card. Whether you have a right to exercise that yang energy. You have doubts. Now, doubts, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Doubts are just thoughts. However, thoughts become things. Everything in the material world that you see began first as a thought. Like, oh, I'm tired of scooping up water from the stream. Oh, let me make a cup. It was a thought before it was a thing. So if you can work on understanding that you have a right to this yang energy. And that when I was a teacher, I used to say, sometimes kids wouldn't want to work or whatever. And I would say, you know what? You have to want this more than I want it for you, or else it's not going to work. Do I want you to learn? Do I want you to get into a great college? 100%. But if you don't want that for yourself more than I want that for you, Henry Ford, I have a blog that I write every Wednesday. It's at a Substack. And a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned Henry Ford, and I'm not a fan of Henry Ford. He was kind of, but
he was.
Yeah, he was. However, he did give us cars, and he said this saying, whether you tell yourself you can or you tell yourself you can't, you're right.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
So because Justine is not just a moderator here and a StarCon volunteer, she works with me year round on StarCon stuff. So I get to talk to her from time to time, and I enjoy her very much. I am personally so thrilled with that reading for her. I don't know how thrilled she is. She'll let us know. Right. But that resonates for me. My thoughts about Justine resonates well.
I mean, I will say this about Lenormand. You said this is a very Taroistic question. And then I said there's nothing that Lenormand can't answer that Tarot would answer. But I will say that the language is different and the style is different. Lenormand is very direct, cuts right to the core of things. So to whatever degree the answer sounds like a splash of cold water in your face, maybe that's what you need. Just
there it is. And just a couple of things. Justine is enjoying how you're bringing us up to date on the trends in Lenormand. Michael Gunther, so nice to see you. This is educational. I'm loving it. Great. And a name I'm not quite sure how to pronounce because it's not in English and I only speak English. But love the addition of the scale. Very good. And that's from, I'm going to say, Clever Begelin, maybe? If I got it wrong, I'm so sorry, but thank you for being here. We really appreciate you. All right. Ready for another question?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. Up next is Sarah. Sarah, thank you for being a member. We really appreciate you. Paul is her fiance. Paul and I want to know what advice we need to know for our upcoming weekend in Miami.
Okay. I do not draw off the top. So it's kind of like I'm shuffling each time I pull a card. I kind of feel for the right card.
I do the same thing with tarot. I always shuffle and cut, and that's where it comes from the cut.
Okay. So we have the star, we have the letter, and we have the book. So let me say that, the star is about the future. So, this is a trip that's coming. The letter is the card that I find the most of the deck. I love all of them. But the thing about the letter in Lenormand is it's anything in writing, from a passport to a bill to a diploma to, the newspaper, anything in writing. So I had to figure out, what is that? And then we have the book. The book, even though you and I all know that books hold information, in the Lenormand deck, the book refers to things that we don't know, things that are maybe hidden from us. So be sure all of your paperwork. You're only where are you going? Miami?
And they're in Florida. They're in Punta Gorda, yeah, so it's not.
But just if there's anything that you need of a paperwork variety, I would say just sort of double check it, make sure it's in order and all of that. I will say though too, one of the things we do in Lenormand is a thing called mirroring. So with a 3-card pull, the only cards that I can mirror are the star and the book. And I think there will be something very unexpected that happens on this trip. So let me just pull one more card. Okay. To see, like, because I mean, that's a little bit, who knows what that means.
Yeah, right.
And I pulled a clarifier on the book, and it has to do, it's the garden. That's the clarifier. And here in my deck, it's a community garden plot, which I love. I've never seen that in a Lenormand deck. So I think that you may very well meet new people. And I think that these people will be ones that you also move into your own life in the future. That these will be people who will maybe be friends that you keep in touch with, but they will be new. You're not expecting this to happen, but it feels like and it's not just one person, I don't think. It could be a couple, it could be a couple of couples, but I do think you're going to meet people. It's going to surprise you how well you get along. And then I'm looking at that paperwork card. You know what? It could just be the modern way that we exchange numbers. Like, oh, give me your information. I'll put it in my phone. It could be something as simple as that there will be new people added to your electronic Rolodex, so to speak.
Perfect.
So that's good.
Perfect. Totally makes sense. And just to let you know, it came in earlier, but I'm just seeing it now. Trey, who was the first question about his project, says, thank you, Erika. It makes a lot of sense. So you get all kinds of great feedback. And Sage and Shadow says, always appreciate your work, Christiana. Well, thank you so much, Nancy. Really appreciate that. So, lot of love. All right, next question. Roxana Riggs, first time here. Roxana, thank you so much for finding us. I really hope you subscribe. We appreciate you. Now, no shade, Roxana. We are appreciating you, but we're all here to teach. And I'm going to give you Roxana's question. I'm going to say that this is a question I have a hard time with in tarot. Okay? We'll see what you do with it in Lenormand.
Okay.
I would like to know what's going to happen in my love life.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we have birds.
Mm-hmm.
We have man. This is the other man in my deck. And we have ring. I think you will meet someone that you will become committed to. And I also think that this is someone that will be introduced to you by someone else.
Oh my.
Right? So if you are looking for love, looking for connection, make that known in your circles, because this is the card of, again, communication, networking. You never know. You could say that to a friend and they could say, oh my God, I know this guy who knows this guy, know.
Right.
But I love this energy. This is also, of course, a man. It's yang energy, and it's very mature. So I like that as well. Not necessarily in age, but in attitude. And I feel like this will be a committed relationship.
Perfect. So that was super easy. That was not a problem at all. I get hung up if someone says, tell me about my love life. I'm like, well, where are we at? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. You just read the cards. You're easy. So good. So good. All right. Virginia, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you. Also a love question. I'm wondering if there's a new love in my future.
Okay. Just kind of, I don't like to bend the cards when I shuffle them because I don't know. I just don't.
Understood.
So, okay. We have sun. Now, again, like tarot, Lenormand will say that the sun is the best card in the deck. We have the stork. We've seen this before. This is the card for positive change. That's great. But guess what? It's followed by clouds. So again, clouds are just thoughts. I think that you might want to practice walking through the world, not asking it this way, oh my God, will I ever find love again? It's been so long and I don't know, I probably won't. Change your self-talk so that the energy can change. Because it seems to me that your self-talk is the only thing keeping you from this.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Here we go then. Amberly, thank you so much for being here. Do you think it's a good idea for me to move to Thailand in a couple of years?
Well, okay. Do I think it's a good idea is the same thing as saying it's just more words. Should I?
Right, right.
So no, I'm not going to answer that, but I will answer how will it be if I were to move to Thailand in the next couple of years? How will it go? Okay. Again, we have the sun. Okay, that's great. And I suspect that your ideas around this are very hopeful, positive, all of that. However, followed by the cross, which is followed by the fish. I think that if you were to make this move, there would be some sacrifice attached to it. There would be something that you would be, or maybe more than one something, that you would be giving up in order to do that. And that would be an emotionally charged decision. So, I mean, that doesn't mean don't do it. It means that it's not like, okay, bye, I'm going to Thailand. You know, you need to give this a lot of thought. Let me draw a clarifier on the cross and then a clarifier on, okay. So the clarifier on the cross is the woman. I don't know whether there would be someone you would be leaving behind. You know, it could be something like that, someone you would miss or who would miss you. Now, what's interesting is when I look at the fish, the clarifier for that is clover. Clover is great. I mean, clover is one of the three what I call happiness cards. We've seen all of them. One is the lily, one is the clover, and the third is the bouquet. The thing about the clover, though, that you have to remember is clover's like somebody knocks on your door and you won the lottery. Santa Claus comes to town, that kind of thing. And that's terrific. But there's another thing, you know, Santa Claus doesn't come every day. We don't win the lottery every day. If you're not home and they knock on your door and you win the lottery, I guess you don't win the lottery, somebody else does. So there is an ephemeral nature to this card, meaning that for the short term, it may be fine. But then over the long haul, this might be more operative.
Okay.
So again, all the glitters, actually that was the title of my blog post this week. All the glitters is not necessarily gold. So, you know, think of my scales card, weigh all of the pros and cons, and this might be good for the short term. I'm not sure for the long term though.
Fair. Very good. All right. Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy. Kathy, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. We appreciate you. How is my earning potential looking? I'm waiting for the start date on my new job while they process various checks. It's been almost 2 months. I'm in limbo waiting.
Okay, your financial situation. All right. Well, that's stressful. So you know what let's do? Let's do the same thing we did before. I cut the deck, excuse me, and now I'm going to look for the card for money. Believe it or not, it's fish. It's the same card that we saw before. It means fish and it means emotion. But here I am charging it to have the meaning of money. And I think it's going to be fine. Now, I shuffled these cards. You saw me, I shuffled. I pulled 5. So we have the cross, we have the woman, that's you. So, you know, yeah, you're stressing out because, you know, There's money, which I have in the center. However, and I really pulled from different places in the deck, Clover and Sun. And they're at the end of the reading. All's well that ends well. So your financial situation will be fine. Of course, you're stressed out now. You're having to sacrifice and penny pinch now, but it looks like all will be well.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We're happy to see that. All right, Mediha Ness. Ness, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you. Thanks for being a member. How can I help my daughter with her homework issues? She's 14. You're the right person to ask since you're also a teacher. And she's open to teacher suggestions as well.
Well, I mean, I'll let the cards speak because I have my own. Okay. Okay, again, the sun, the garden, and the fish. My suggestion, it's actually the same thing I would have suggested without the cards, to keep, it all sounds good. You're going to help your kid with their homework, but this is a teenager we're talking about. In order to keep the home peaceful and serene and full of the sun and sunflowers, you're going to want to not be the one to help her with her homework. I think you need to go outside and find someone, pay a tutor to help. You can sympathize, you can empathize, but you cannot be her tutor. It's just not a good dynamic. Find someone who is a master in the subject matter. Could be an older student, by the way, a kid, right? You don't have to pay top dollar, but there could be someone in the school community. Most schools do have that, like peer tutoring, after school help, that kind of thing. And again, if you want to have a private tutor, it will cost you, but it will also, now I'm flipping, now when I compare it with a different card, the fish, it will keep the emotions sunny in your home for you not to be the one giving the help.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. I love that. All right. And we are down to our last 8 minutes. You hanging in there, Erika?
I am.
Perfect. All right. Baby cakes. When will I buy another car?
I don't do when questions.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. This is a good teaching tool.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, when you'll buy a new car, when you have the money to buy it, but that's just me saying, that's my ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I believe that in what the Greeks say about time, that there are two kinds of time. There's time on the clock, time on the watch, time on the calendar. That's what Baby Cakes is asking about.
Mm-hmm.
When I read, just by virtue of being asked the question and me agreeing to read, it's a contract between me and Baby Cakes that I go to somewhere to get the answer. And where I go is not to Chronos, but it's Kairos, what the Greeks call Kairos. Kairos is the fullness of time, where the past, the present, and the future all simultaneously reside. I believe I go to that place and I bring the information back, and then I use the cards to translate into Chronos language.
Wow.
But things can get lost in translation. And timing is one of those things. However, what I can do is, and this is the one exception to the one card rule, where I say that Lenormand doesn't work with one card, but I can, there are ways that you can look at timing. Only, I mean, this will be very unsatisfactory in terms of telling you, well, I'll just say, I think it's soon. I think it's soon. If I had gotten, for example, the tree, I would have said in a year or two. There's some cards that are slower. There are other cards that are faster. But I think the rider would give me the indication that it's sooner rather than later. But that's the best that I can do.
That's great though. Soon is good. That's a quality of time. That's good. Perfect. There's your answer. All right. And there's a lot of people in the chat saying, this is making me want to go get my Lenormand cards, dust them off, and use them. So that is great. It's doing the same thing for me.
Check out my book, and it'll be just like I'm sitting there with you.
Fair enough. Okay, so we are coming down to our last questions. We are not likely to get to everyone here today, and I'm so sorry for that. But if we don't get to you today, we will give you information on how to contact Erika. You can reach out and schedule a reading with her. Certainly won't be free, but it'll be in depth and it'll be worth it. All right, so let's see who else we can get to here. How about Kristen Louise? Nice to see you. Feel like I haven't seen you in a long time, Kristen. My mother died 2 weeks ago today. I am so sorry. With no caregiving duties, I'm feeling restless. Any insights on a path, vocation, hobby I should take up to fill my time?
So we have the ring, we have the snake, and we have crossroads. Interesting cards. The ring. I think that you want to find, I don't think that the question is quite as frivolous as it at first sounds, because I think it's not just about taking up your time. I think that you want your time to have meaning in the same way that your caregiving duties had meaning. And I say that because of the ring. The ring is the card for being committed to something. So the next card that we have is the snake. Now, generally speaking, the snake is a problem. But it's also true, my snake is slithering through mugwort. And mugwort is a plant that is feminine in nature. So one of the meanings of the Lenormand snake, believe it or not, is a clever woman. And so I feel like it's about helping women find their path. And I say that because of crossroads is the last card, and crossroads is about choices. So if there is, and I don't know, maybe this is not of interest to you, but I get the sense from the cards that the question is not like a throwaway question. You want something that will give your life meaning, that will give other people meaning, something you can be committed to. And I think it's helping women who are having trouble, who find themselves at a crossroads. And God knows there's many, many ways that one can find oneself at a crossroads. Like if a parent dies and you've been a caretaker for a parent. Like if you're in a midlife crisis, like if you are all of a sudden an empty nester, if you're getting divorced, if you just stop drinking, or, there's infinite ways, and you'll know what vibes with you. But I do think it will have to do with working with women in a committed way, helping them find the right path.
That makes so much sense. Okay, let's try to get 2 more questions in if we can. My good friend Martha Vink. Is the person I've been dating for 3.5 years the one I will be with in the future, especially in my retirement in about 5 years?
We have the garden, we have the woman, and again, in the final position, we have clouds. I'm just going to say that not necessarily, and that there are, there's a lot of plants in the garden, if you know what I mean.
Interesting. All right. And this will be our final question. To those people we didn't get to, I am so sorry. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you for supporting Erika and all the great things she's doing. Final question goes to Melissa Grosso. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. I believe Melissa will be attending StarCon, and so you'll get to meet her in person. I've been doing a lot of internal work, shadow work, hypnosis, etc., to help bring myself a greater sense of worthiness. How will this bear fruit in the areas of love and...
Okay, love.
To help bring myself a greater sense of worthiness.
We have the book, we have the rider, and we have the woman. I think that you have yet still to discover things about yourself that are coming. They are coming. The answers are coming. And you will be this woman in the end. This is the woman who is mature, settled, peaceful, at home with herself, comfortable. So I think that, we looked at it in terms of love. Well, isn't that who you want to be? I mean, that's the energy certainly that you want to exude, such that the right person energetically comes towards you. So I think, again, that you will learn a lot about yourself, and that will make you this kind of a woman. And this kind of a woman is a great partner for the counterpart of this woman, which is the man who is mature and has done his own shadow work and his own stuff,
Fair enough. That is beautiful. So much great feedback. When you get time, it takes 24 hours for the chat to show up. When you get time, definitely go read it. Remember Sarah with her trip to Miami and the book and the letter? We're going to Miami on Paul's business, so there will definitely be networking and exchanging numbers. There you go. There you go. So, Erika Robinson, I want to thank you so much. The book is The Language of Lenormand by Erika Robinson. The deck is Erika's Lenormand of Hope. You can get the book on Amazon, and you can order your copy of the deck right now on Kickstarter. The link is in the description. Anything else you want to add, Erika?
No, just thank you for having me. I've loved your audience questions, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. It's a great pleasure. And thank you, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate all of you. Special shout out to the members, the moderators, new subscribers. Please do subscribe if you're here. Make sure you hit that bell. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. I will be back tomorrow at noon with the Friday Weekly Wrap Up. Thank you so much, everybody.